This is section 9.4, arithmetic sequences. They say a sequence is arithmetic if the differences between the consecutive terms are the same and it can be written in the form of your first number, then your next number would be the first number plus that common difference, and so on and so forth. Okay, the number D is called the common difference, meaning that if you take the term following the original term and you subtract it, it should be the same as if you take the end term and you subtract the term before it, and so on and so forth. Every number is going to have the same difference between it. Okay, so for example, if you were looking at a sequence and I said I have the number 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, that would be a sequence and it follows the pattern that I'm adding 2 to each number, meaning the difference between each term is 2. That's the common difference. Okay, well here it says each term in an arithmetic sequence can be obtained recursively from its preceding term by adding D. Recursively, okay? So recursively says that you have A sub n equals your previous term, that's the A sub n minus 1, plus D, so plus the common difference. That's for all numbers that are greater than or equal to 2. Now if I want to know explicitly, okay, explicitly is defined right here. Explicitly is when you can write an equation that can be used any number of n. You don't have to have the term before or the term after. Okay, so explicitly says A sub n equals your A sub 1, which means your first term in the sequence, plus n minus 1 times D. So you take the number that you have in for n, you subtract 1, and that's how many common differences you're going to add to your first term. Okay, so these are the definitions for arithmetic sequences. We're going to go ahead and define arithmetic sequences here. Okay, so defining arithmetic sequences, it says they want us to find the common difference, find the 10th term, write a recursive rule for the nth term, and write an explicit rule for the nth term. Okay, so starting out, I have to find the common difference. Common difference, I said, was when you take the previous term and subtract the term before it. So if I take the last term here, which is 11, and I subtract 6, I get 5. It should work no matter which terms you pick. So if I go to 6 and I subtract the term before it, that was 1, it comes out to be 5. If I take 1 and I subtract the term before it, which is negative 4, 1 minus a negative 4 is going to give you 5. So our common difference here is 5. Okay, then it wants us to find the 10th term. Okay, so they want us to find A sub 10. If I want to find A sub 10, I'm going to use the explicit rule where it said that I needed A sub 1 plus my n minus 1. Well, n here is 10 minus 1 times D. Okay, so we're going to substitute. The first term that I have in this sequence is negative 4, so A sub 1 is negative 4. I'm going to add to that 9 common differences, and the common difference, the D, was 5. So here I get negative 4 plus 45. So my A sub 10 comes out to be 41. Okay, so we found the common difference, we found the 10th term. We need to write a recursive rule Okay, and if you go back to the definitions that we had up above, the recursive rule says that you have A sub n equals A sub n minus 1 plus your common difference. Well, a sub 1 is, we need to give that when we give a recursive rule. Your first term was -4. And then I have to write the rule. So I write a sub 1 equals -4, and my a sub n equals my a sub n minus 1 plus my common difference, and the common difference was 5. This is your recursive rule here. Okay, the explicit rule. Explicit rule, I said, was a rule that you could use no matter what number you have for n, or no matter what term you're finding. So here, if you start with the additional rule that I gave you, that's not on your note sheet, and hopefully you wrote it down. That's your a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times your common difference. Okay, so if I'm going to plug in here, I have a sub n equals my first term, which was -4, plus n minus 1 times the common difference, and the common difference was 5. Okay, well, I'm not going to leave it like this. I need to go ahead and work this out, which means I have to distribute the 5 to the n and to the 1. So you get a sub n is equal to -4 plus 5n minus 5. Okay, if we combine our like terms, this says a sub n equals 5n minus 9. Okay, so your explicit rule is a sub n equals 5n minus 9. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and attempt the problem that you have at the bottom where it says try, and then unpause the video to check your work and see if you've worked this out correctly. Okay, this concludes the video for arithmetic sequences.